Hey guys, it's Charles with Miller 9 Design. Just wanted to take a minute, show you guys how to remove your factory reflector on your saddlebag and install the new cover. A couple of things you're going to need is a 4mm Allen wrench, a 1/8 Allen wrench, small screwdriver, and plastic putty knife helps, or a regular putty knife, somewhere to put your screws, and a blanket or a towel or something soft to put your lid to your saddlebag on. To get started, we'll just open up the saddlebag. Make sure your saddlebag is empty. Make it a lot easier. The first thing we'll do is remove the strap that keeps your lid from falling too far forward. And we'll just remove the 4 bolts. You have one here, and one here, one here. That's going to help to keep track of which bolt will come out of which hole. I already loosened these up a minute ago, so yours will probably be a lot harder to remove. Be careful when you're removing your bolts from this bracket because it is flimsy and you will bend it easily. And also make sure you use a good Allen wrench. I've noticed the bolts on these bikes aren't the greatest thing in the world, and they will strip on you. So be careful. Use a good Allen wrench. All right, so we got the strap off. Let's go ahead and undo the electrical. Your clip here. Just take your small screwdriver and put it underneath the clip, and just pull your wire loose. Then you'll have to undo these 3 clips. Just move to the right on all of them, and your wires will come right undone. Just lay that all in the saddlebag there and you're all good. Make sure you keep support the lid, because now it's free to move and it'll drop and everything else. So next thing we need to do is remove the lid completely. We'll remove these 3 bolts. I always leave the center bolt snug slightly, and then remove the outer bolts first. Good thing to do is stick your hand underneath and hold on to the hinge itself and support the top of the lid, because this lid's going to come free here in a minute. Remove your bolt and your washer. All right, now be careful. This is where it's going to come apart on you. Now you can just lift your saddlebag cover, the top of the saddlebag, off. Set it down where it's nice and cozy. All right, so next thing we'll do is grab your 4mm wrench again, and we're going to remove this inside bracket that's holding the hinge to the bottom of this bag. I don't know how well you guys can see this because got some light shining in here, but all black bag, it's hard to see what's going on. So I want to make sure you hold on to the latch. Don't drop your tool. It's helpful. If you guys are going to do work on your bikes, buy a good set of Allen wrenches. Buy some off Amazon, pretty cheap. Well worth it. The cheap Allen wrenches will strip these bolts quite easily. All right, so now we got the bolts out. We can just take the cover completely off, the hinge, I mean. So you can see that I've already installed a cover. So we'll just pop that off. And all you would do now, if you have the factory one on there, like I said, the back of these is just going to be covered in 3M tape. And you just take your screwdriver and start prying that loose a little bit, or even better, a piece of plastic, wedge it in there, start working it loose, and that tape will start separating. But for me, let's go ahead and pop this cover off. All right. So that's what it'll look like on your bike from the factory. And you would just take it, take your little wedge and just wedge it in there and start prying that loose, because there's nothing but glue, 3M tape, double-sided tape holding it on. So just start working it loose and it'll come off. And then you can just put that aside, and then you'll probably have some tape still left on there. So just take the tape off and clean it up, and then you're all set to install the new cover. So you see we have a raised surface here, and we have a small pocket that's going to sit into. So just take your cover, set it down on there. You can wiggle it around a little bit and it'll find that pocket. So flip it over and you see your bolt holes. So take your Allen wrench and your, easy way to do that, I guess. So you'll want to put just a drop of blue Loctite on here. I'm not putting anything on because I'll probably be taking these off a half a dozen times. So you just screw the bolt in, leave it slightly loose. Go ahead and put your other one in. Like I said, just a drop of Loctite. You don't have to use much. Screw this bolt in. Now, just get it to where it's snug. Take a look, make sure it's all lining up, it's sitting flush. And we want to tighten this down. Now we don't need to tighten this, over tighten it. These are just aluminum, so make sure they're nice and snug. Not going to go anywhere. All right, now you have your cover on, and we can install it. Take your 3 bolts. Now you probably want to do a better job than I am doing about it. So what I'll do is line these up with the holes. Take your time so you don't scratch anything up. I'm just putting my leg against it to hold it so I can put this bracket on. Now the bracket's going to go like this. Put just a drop of blue Loctite on. Take your 4mm Allen wrench and put the center one in. Slightly snug it up. Sometimes it helps to have two hands, well, two sets of hands. Just barely snug it to where the latch won't go anywhere. All right, get your other bolts. Dab of Loctite. Line up your bracket. Make sure everything's lined up, and then you can just tighten them down. Don't go over tighten them, just all right. So we got that on. Now we can put the lid back on. Yes, I know my bike is filthy. All right, so we'll just line up the holes. All right, so support your lid. Take your first screw, stick it in the middle hole. I'll just lightly snug it just to where nothing's moving around. All right, so we got the first one in. Again, put your Loctite on. All right, so now once you get them all snug, just tighten them all down. All right, so you have the lid back on. All right, so supporting the lid, we'll put the strap back on. Get your two bolts with the washer built in. Now the bracket down here at the bottom. Again, I apologize, it's probably difficult to see. It's difficult to record this, and do it at the same time, because trust me, you're going to need all hands on this. Just snug these down a little bit. Get your strap all the way on correctly. Snug them down. Tighten them up. There you go. Now the strap's on. You can let go of the lid. So we'll put our back, hook up our electric back up. Just stick it in the little holders. Plug your wire in, and just reverse the order and slide those back in. If you're like me, you always have one that's a slight pain in the ass. There we go. Make sure you have enough slack. There you're all set. Everything is all back tidy, and there you go. You have your new cover installed. You're all ready to go. If you have any questions, just message me. Thanks for watching.